Trade recap number one. Today is Thursday. We had 8:30 news, unemployment claims. Tomorrow we have NFP. So tomorrow's gonna be a little bit more of a tricky day since we have NFP and then we have prelim consumer sentiment and prelim inflation expectation. So we have prelim news at 10 a.m. also. Today I took a long on ES. Today's more of a. Today was really sloppy. The bias, everything, it was, the bias, not even really the bias, the draw on liquidity was correct. We did also meet my standard deviation targets here, so this could have been a target if we failed to reach my 15-point target. But either way, just aiming for base hits, aiming for consistency, and just being very picky with the setups and just following the system. Today we did risk 1.5%. Instead of 2% or 1%, we just went into the middle. I thought this trade was a really good idea. So let me go over this real quick. Today my bias was originally a little bit more bullish. Again, we're sweeping candle range low. We pushed up. Now we're retracing. We had a daily CRT. The market is retracing. Usually whenever you have a CRT and you're in a bullish environment like this and you have a bearish CRT, I view this CRT as more of a retracement. That's a whole different video though. Like different type of CRTs and all that. And then on the 4-hour time frame, we also had a little slow range forming, but we didn't sweep this low. So we didn't sweep this low. I believe NQ did. So let's go to NQ. NQ never did also. So pretty unfortunate. But the market also had this 4-hour imbalance that was left unfilled. So a little BPR here, a little bearish BPR. That was a draw on liquidity. And then on the 1-hour time frame, we also swept this candle range low, and we formed that 1-hour bullish CRT, and at 10 a.m. came and swept it. Swept the high and completed the CRT, but we also had this 1-hour CB, and yeah, we just looked really bullish. And this is where the SMT formed, I believe. So yeah, we did have SMT there with NQ and ES at those lows, like London lows. Now we did make this 1-hour PDRA inverse. So again, really the 4-hour draw was more heavy than anything. And then on the 30-minute time frame, we had a 30-minute buy side imbalance. I realized early on that we're probably not going to respect it whenever we close at 9:30. So that's kind of where the other one came in. We had a BPR here. We also were sweeping these lows. I was vigilant on these lows. I wanted to see these lows get swept and then eventually start pushing up. We also had a 15-minute CRT. That's kind of where everything started to put its place into play, basically. Having the 15-minute CRT, candle range low sweep. We also had that 1-hour candle range low sweep. On the daily, we had that daily retracement CRT. 5-minute time frame, we didn't have anything really in the 5-minute that I really liked. On the 3-minute, also very sloppy delivery. This would have been a good trade right here, honestly, at 10 o'clock whenever we formed this 3-minute CB, retrace. But again, what would have been better if we swept the lows while we were retracing, or if we had SMT at these lows? I'm still not too sure. Maybe when I do my hindsight trade right now, I'll probably be able to see what was the best trade for today. But on the 1 minute here, once we had the strong delivery, we had strong volume coming to the market, swept the low, pushed up higher, formed this inversion. That's where I entered around here, and then eventually you can see the market pushed up, came back down, and that's where I got stopped out. Reason for moving my stop loss pretty quickly was, I was talking about it in the vlog, but this right here is a balance price range. The market went down and went up. I do not want to see the market come back down and play in this range at all. I want to see the market go up, or I can see it retrace, which it did with this candle right here. And then I want to see this third candle start to expand higher, have strong delivery to this draw on liquidity, since it's relative equal highs, bro. It's relative equal highs. You want to see the market expand to those relative equal highs. And again, this is all just resting buy side up here. And my honest opinion, since again, this is your draw, these are all relative equal highs, bro. Relative equal highs. Just clear. We took out south side. We should be delivering with speed to the upside here. But again, it's Thursday. It's not really the most favorable PA, if I'm being truly honest. But yeah, that was the trade idea. We did retrace, pushed up higher. We fell once more to reach these highs, came back down further, and then we pushed up. Very sloppy delivery. What would have been nice is having this retracement push up, break above these highs, reach the drawn liquidity, this internal buy side, and then eventually start ranging and then push up higher. That would have been the best draw or the best scenario, but it never happened. Slow delivery today, honestly. Slow speed. Look at the 5 minute. The 5 minute is just back and forth, big wicks. not really the most favorable PA. If you're looking to hold trades, these are the type of days where you want to take base hits, type of days where you want to just hit 1R, 2R. Not bad, it's not bad. Or hit break even in profit, or stop loss in profit. It's one of those days basically. So that was pretty much really it. Today just difficult. NQ was moving down lower while YM was just pumping. So ES was like the little middleman, just not knowing where it wanted to go. But overall, like the bias on the higher time frame was bullish. So that was just easier to indicate. Now on the higher time frame, now we're going to be able to see a little bit more of a higher time frame crack and correlation. So that is pretty much really it. I did activate the other account. So we have another little funded account here, untouched. So again, just really aiming for max allocation here, and then eventually once we get that, just trying to make the ROI back and going for a payout. I think it's doable. It's very, very doable, if I'm being truly honest. Because again, like we've been at that point before where, like we know we're consistent. We know we have the profits, or we have the consistency. We have a good system, and it's all just following it, having good risk management, and continuing to show up every single day, and just not breaking the rules. Taking one trade a day, 1% on the fundeds, and then eventually following the system. Waiting for the confirmation, waiting with the higher time frame narrative in the back of the mind, and just not putting too much pressure. Not putting too much pressure on yourself, allowing yourself to just trade. Just how you've usually been, I guess. And being extra picky though, extra picky, even when you're on the combines, I guess, just being really picky with your setups. You don't want to be putting capital on setups. I see a lot of people put emphasis on like trying to pass as soon as possible. I think you should take your time, especially if it's your first time. If you're advanced, you already know what you're doing, then of course 2 days is doable, very doable. But if you're new, take your time, wait for A+ setups, have a good risk. It could be 1%, doesn't matter. And just aim for consistency, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now, just aiming for consistency. I realize that's always like the best factor, because it just builds more confidence, and it lets you like understand what you're looking for and why you're looking for it, and you just continue to follow your rules, especially if it's like following your system. Your system doesn't give you 2 trades back to back every single day, then of course don't try to force it. Like wait for a whole week, 2 weeks to pass. It's fine. There's no rush. My game plan is, once we get all of them funded and we all get a payout, or we get a payout on every single account, we just run it up from there, and yeah, that's pretty much really it. Peace.